Cool.
Morning, good evening, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm excited to talk with you. I see you have a lot of QA experience, and why don't you start with just introducing yourself and talking about what you do, where you work?
Sure. Yeah, so my name's Mike. Currently working for Jagex. It's the makers of the RuneScape franchise, but I actually work on all of the non-RuneScape projects that they have had and that they do have and that they will have. So there's a lot of stu dev studio engagement, outsource management, and uh, process creation and refinement as well.
Has Jagex always been like a third party publisher, or when did that start?
No, I think it was about 5 years ago that they started doing it. Um, they acquired a couple of titles, tried to really diversify the portfolio. Some didn't work out, some did, some got released, which was seen as like big successes because it was away from that traditional PC based MMORPG that RuneScape was. We actually like released on consoles, um, and like released some mobile games, which went out, which had like some really good reviews as well. So there was a lot of like learning that had to be done with that, which is why they brought people into the company that had that expertise of doing different facets of what was going to be new to the team, and that's how I got brought in.
Cool. So you were kind of part of setting up all of these processes and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean when I joined it was like my day one induction was like you're going to be looking after this. You have nobody else from QA in the team. There is nothing set. Here's an Excel sheet that I was using, but you can feel free to do whatever it is you want. Um and like here's the contact details of like the vendors that we have approved for you to use for different things. And then other than that it was like okay, let me know
Ha
if
have
anything
had
goes
it.
wrong kind of thing. Yeah.
Have you been in that position before that?
Not really, no. I mean, prior
Okay.
to Jagex, I was working at PlayStation, and like that is like, that's an institution with a lot of the stuff that they do. To be fair to PlayStation, they do put a lot of effort into refining processes and innovating and coming up with new things and like listening to new ideas. But largely there is that big support network where, you have got guys who've got like 10, 20, 30 years of experience that you can go to and get the opinions on or get input from. And there's quite a good safety net to be able to work on and collaborate on things with other people.
Was PlayStation your first QA job?
It was, yeah. I
Wow.
started in 2013. This is show my maths. Yeah, so it's 2013. I joined working as a QA tester on a 3 month contract on the late shift, where they were it had a big hiring um, spree and brought in loads of people. So there was about 80 of us on the late shift at the time. Um, and I actually had a full-time job during the day, but I was looking at getting out of that job to go into teaching, and I needed to find a night job so that I could do classes and placements during the day, and then go and do some work to pay my way through university and through the course in the evening. I ended up just like loving working on games to the point where like I'm not a teacher now, but I still work in games. So
Yeah, I saw you got a degree in marine biology. Um,
yes, yeah.
so I'm assuming you're going to be teaching around that.
Yeah, it was to do secondary sciences, so biology, chemistry, and physics in UK high schools.
Have you ever
Um,
thought about like teaching, but like game development stuff or like QA stuff?
it'd be tricky to get into that, I think, because I've got the formal qualifications that allowed me to pursue teaching around science, but I don't have any of the formal qualifications like degree level with gaming. And at this point, like the thought of going back to university for a third time is just
Uh,
it doesn't appeal.
that's really interesting. So many people just, I feel like, especially in QA, just have such interesting stories about how they ended up where they
I
ended
think it
up.
definitely benefits the department as well when you have got people who have these different backgrounds. It's like there's obviously like a lot of value to I went to university and studied game development or level design or art or whatever it is, and then I moved into QA to get into the industry. Like that's the story that we hear a lot from people. But when you have people who've come from different areas and then gone into QA, because it is again a really good entry point for people into the industry. Um, it's not the only good thing about working in QA, obviously, but it is one of the positives of it. But they have these diverse backgrounds. You then get like this cognitive diversity within your teams, and it allows you to approach things in different ways because it's not everyone going like, this is how I was taught to do it, so this is how I should do it. You end up sort of like teaching yourself and teaching those around you and learning from those around you instead.
That it's I always that's a question I tend to try to ask people is like how is your team and how do you feel about like a diverse team? Because in my experience, exactly like you said, I've seen such good benefits of just having that diverse education or just personal background on your team because it just brings different perspectives and yeah, it's not like I don't know. I can't speak to like an engineering team if it's the same because everyone goes to school for like computer science and like I don't know. It's like you have the same
Yeah.
kind of brains working in engineering, but in QA you have like different people. So
Yeah, I think, I mean, we look at it like whenever, I mean, this is getting more into like different testing practices, I guess, but when you start to do like things like archetype playthroughs and that, everyone's thinking the same. It's like you're only going to test one way. It's the same way as like when we would have like the opportunity to say, hire, you were building a team and we're hiring 10 people. Like a lot of the time you'd be like, well, are they gamers? Do they understand video games? Do they know how to test games? And it's like, yes, 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 great. Let's get all these like massive gaming fans, like really technically minded people, people who've got the experience and bring them in. But I always found the benefit of having like not the entire team, but like one or two, like building that diversity of people who are like, nah, I don't play video games, I just need a job. It's like, great, yeah, bring you in. If you're gonna work hard at it, then we can certainly find a way of you benefiting the team. And like an example of that is one title that I worked on. I won't say what it was. Like the crashes that I'm going to mention definitely didn't stay in the game before it was released. It was a very successful title while I was at PlayStation. But like we had a few guys who'd come in and they'd had backgrounds in like degrees in the games industry, and they were fine. They were capable. Like they understood what they were doing. But you'd find that they would like be doing like long playthroughs of games and like they'd be like playing it and they were very good at games and they would get like maybe 10, 15 bugs of like critical major like medium criticality um in like a shift, maybe like seven, like 1 an hour, however whatever it was. And we'd have this guy who was just like throwing in like it was like a crash every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, and they were all unique ones that he was getting. And it was like, how are you doing this? And it's like, we're looking at him, and it's like the start of the game, the very initial spawn point, and he's going the wrong way and he's doing the wrong thing. It's the complete opposite what the game's telling because he just didn't understand how to do things. This is a guy who, like, when I told him to open a program in his browser, turned around and went, "What's a browser?" And it's like, you know, and he had like the highest critical bug count for a significant period. And he was like, I really have no idea what I'm doing. It's like, I really don't care that you don't know what you're doing. I don't want you to know what you're doing. I feel like if you learn to do things the way everyone else is doing things, your bug count is going to drop. It's like continue being terrible at this game, please. Just as long as you know how to enter an issue into our database, like then you are MVP at the moment for what we need. And it's like I think that's more of like a thing for like leads and managers. It's like, you know, you will get people who pick up games who don't at the end players who are not familiar with the title or familiar with a genre of game, and I will do things that like people who are familiar are like, why are you doing that? And they can find issues that will get overlooked by people who are like, I'm going to do what the game wants me to do to make sure it works as intended. So
That's fascinating. And that's also good for getting those kind of people's like feedback about just playtesting feedback, design feedback and what have you. Because I mean, the goal is to, like you're making a game probably for like a target audience, but also, I mean, you want everybody to play a game. So like
Yeah.
getting people like that even on your team, that's, I mean, that's really funny. Yeah, I've worked with people who had who have like claimed to be terrible at games, and either they didn't really play them or they did and they just were bad at them. It still provided um that benefit, like you said. So you were doing education degree and then you ended up at PlayStation. You're like, I actually really like this. What did you like about QA then? Or I guess just what do you love about QA in general that's have you stayed in that career in that department for like over 12 years or so now?
I mean, to be honest, when I first joined, I was working for the NHS in the UK, and like the majority of my department were like older people who were very comfortable doing like 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. or 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. And like the conversation you'd have with them would be like, did you watch Coronation Street, which is a soap opera in the UK? So I don't know, like Days of Our Lives or all My Children or whatever it is you guys watch that are like, the soaps, or like, did
Yeah.
you watch EastEnders? Did you watch Strictly Come Dancing? Did you watch like all these reality TV things, or like or soap operas? And like my interest in that kind of media was like was non-existent, and it was like I was just getting on with the work, and like the office environment was like quite isolating. When I joined the games industry and I walk in and people are wearing, like video game t-shirts and jeans, and they're talking about like the Marvel movies, or they're talking about comic books, or about obviously about video games. Um, I'm just like, I could literally have a conversation with anyone in the room about something that we were both passionate in at any one time. Uh, Obviously, like when we weren't working, like we showed up to work, but it was nice to have like that social aspect as part of it. Um, and so for me, it was more like the shared interest with people in the industry that I gravitated towards. And then as I started to put the effort into like learning the job, and trying to do as good a job as I could, I realized that this kind of work was really like something that I was good at, and that I was able to be successful with. And then I was able to start having like some creative ideas with how it was being done to make it easier for myself and then for those around me and the teams in general. um so I think it was yeah, like enjoying the work environment first, and then enjoying the work after that was what kept me interested in it.
What's like a strategy that you've experienced or developed, and you don't have to go into too specifics here, that
Mhm.
you think every QA team should try to utilize? It could be like a testing process. It could be just about, like you're
Yeah,
saying, how the team is structured.
so I think one of the best ways of getting people to learn the ins and outs of a new title, if they're added to it after it's been in test for a while, is to start them off solely focusing on like regression and confirmation testing. If you've got a team that are writing bugs well, because they will start to see um, how others with the experience are finding issues and are then reporting them. It is a good way if you've got like your new testers. I think encouraging teams to not just blindly follow test cases, but also like put in suggestions for, we're not focusing on this area of testing. We really should. And like creating like test charters based on their experience of like, I'm avoiding doing this because my focus has been here. And really like listening to the guys who are doing the hands-on testing. Um, like the like the further I've like progressed, the less hands-on I've had the opportunity to be with testing games on a regular basis. And when I have a tester come to me and says like this doesn't work, and it gets reported, and the dev goes, "Oh, we thought this was working." It's like I trust the QA tester who tells me that it's not working than you telling me that you've read it somewhere on a piece of paper that says that it is, or an email or whatever saying that it is. Like they know how to break stuff, and any QA tester loves telling everybody that they've managed to break stuff. It's like that, that achievement for the day.
Uh-huh.
It's like um so really just like if you're managing a team, get your team to share experiences with each other, get them to learn from each other, and make sure you're learning from them as well. Um, and empower them to speak up, and then empower yourself to speak up for them. That's the important. It's like it's basic, but it's the right way of going about it. Lead the team, don't just manage them.
Yeah. Having a voice is important and not being afraid to have that voice and opening up that dialogue with other people in QA and most importantly, like production and design and whoever else. Because I mean, I believe us in QA, we have the unique perspective of what we do every day. And like you said, if we say something's broken, I mean, we knew it's broken. And like it could be either an actual bug or it could be a a design flaw that we have noticed because we play this game every day
Hmm.
that maybe we should take a look at this and figure out maybe a different way to go about it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So you started as a contractor at PlayStation, and
Yep.
then how, how quickly did you move into like a test lead position? What do you think, in your
So
opinion, were some of like the key skills or experience that helped you make that
yeah.
leap?
So I got let go after 9 months because the work had dried up. That was just the nature of the industry back then. And then I returned pretty much straight back to the same job in I think it was about I think another 3 months later. Then after that it was building. I think it was about 2 years. It's a long time ago now, talking over a decade. Yeah, it was about 2 years because it was when I'd finished my teaching degree. I just kind of said to myself, like, right, I can't, there's certain things I can't do because I couldn't be on the day shift, where I'm like, I can put all my effort now into this. This is my career. So I did things like I got trained in compliance. I did localization trainings and English localization. I'd like schedule like one-to-ones with people from other teams, like release management, business, operations, like tool support, like basically whoever I could get to sit down for like half an hour and talk to me about the different aspects of the industry. I was like, come and talk to me, please, because I want to learn all of this kind of stuff. But honestly, the thing that I know made me stand out to the test lead group at the time who were looking to promote were um really was like when we would have conversations about the good things that we were doing, it wouldn't be I did this, I was the best at this or anything. It was like, this guy was really good at that, or this lady was like fantastic with this, and like talking up the rest of the team and really like encouraging those guys to do as well as they could. And like from a genuine place, it was like I wanted to see like the team succeed. In my opinion, was like if we all succeed, it's like they've got to like keep all of us and like put us in a position where we can continue to have this success. Um, but I like kind of developed it was like a contractors, like a knowledge sharing group that we set up because they had all this kind of stuff for permanent staff. And like Sony shifted a few years ago where they were like, no, the contract staff are going to be treated equal to the full-time staff. But there was a time like back in the dark ages where it was like you were lucky that they let you in the door, or like let you go and use like the facility same facilities as like the full-time staff. It was like seen as like you don't belong here. You're going to be gone at any time. Like you've got no rights whatsoever. You like just be happy you're getting minimum wage kind of thing.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so so I started to do things that it was like this is to help benefit like some of these contractors, but I was also then able to sell it to like the management that whilst we don't traditionally do these benefits for people who are on the 3 month contracts, the reason why it is beneficial to you that we do this is because we are increasing their abilities and increasing their knowledge and increasing the skills that they're going to have, and also the collaboration with each other, which is going to build more cohesive teams um, if we do this at no cost, and we'll prepare everything and do everything, and like I'll organize everything, and I could use like some of the stuff that I'd done in the past to like um bolster these kind of sessions going well, like particularly like the teaching qualification like really like helped with setting up like what was essentially like an educational workshop. um and they were like, okay. So I think seeing that I was willing to kind of speak up for those around me, and also that it was like, don't just tell us why it's good for you, but tell us why it's good for us, and having that kind of mindset, I think that was the kind of stuff that really sold it, and like why I was able to start like progressing.
Yeah, that's great insight. I've never talked to somebody who's kind of broken it down like that before, but that makes total sense. Like a good leader is somebody who's never like selfish. It's somebody who
Wow.
tries like to build up everyone around them, like you said. Um,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
It's a rare, well, it's not less so now. I think like from what I've seen, like the games industry, like it's a lot nicer. Like it's a lot less competitive, cutthroat competition, but there definitely was some of that like back in the day when I was coming up, that I saw and really just wanted to try to, eliminate that as much as possible.
I felt that competition too, especially it was like you said in the dark ages. I joined the industry uh around the same time you did, I think. And like my first big role, I felt that like competition. Yes, and I think it's a lot better now. It depends on where you're at, but I think overall
Yeah.
it's gotten better for it.
I mean, I might just be saying that because I'm in a management role now and I'm not like sat in like a test bay with a bunch of testers. It could
No,
just be that they're a lot better at hiding it from us now, but I'd like to be optimistic
I
about
was gonna
it.
say I want to be optimistic, and I think it's gotten a little bit better. Um, Kind of speaking on the same vein, what do you think are some of like the biggest misconceptions right now in like QA in the game industry, either among people who don't know anything about it or just people who are experienced veterans like ourselves that we try to
Um,
inform others about that actually it's not like that.
I think there's a few like I think the perception like from maybe outside of QA that if you test a game, you're gonna catch like every single issue is like obviously like the long-standing biggest misconception, because we're always gonna have like a producer or a project manager come to us if like one bug's up. It's like, well, why don't you test that? And it's like, because you gave me like a budget of like 60K for the year, and I've got like and it's a 50-hour playthrough with like three different game features, and you want every single thing tested, and you're letting the developers change the design like every 5 minutes. It's like, why do you think we've missed it? It's like it's the conception that like if a bug comes through, it's like QA have missed it, and it's you know. But I think that comes from like a place of when people don't have that background in QA, they see QA as like they're really easy to like scapegoat as um the ones who are at fault for like they see us as like we are responsible for the quality of the game, and it's like no, we're not responsible for the game being of a high quality. We are responsible for the game being the highest possible quality that it can be, following our assessment of it, and not we can't improve a game. Like it's rare that like you'll get like a game comes out and it's, yeah, no, QA made this game better when they tested it because they told us this, this, and this, or it's like no, like they managed to stop like the game breaking and things like that. It's uh, so I think that's it. I think like I think like the perception, like I know I kind of mentioned it before, that like QA is just should be seen as like it's just an entry point to the industry. It's like again, like whilst there is an element of truth to it being one of the easiest disciplines to get into at most companies, um, it's like it's a lot more nuanced than just playing through a game and writing up bugs that you find. Like as you know, there's a lot more elements to it, and I think like really looking at how QA can like what we do, we can get it to feed into all of the different um aspects of game development and the other teams within the team. Like that's when you really start to see like just how beneficial it can be. Um, I would say like anyone who's not QA, like any execs who are watching, like one of the biggest misconceptions I've seen from like execs towards QA is that QA is nothing more than an expense. Uh, it doesn't bring any money into the company. It just costs us money, and we could do it cheaper. Doing something cheaper, it does not mean you're going to save money. It means that you're going to spend less money in the immediate, but it could cost you much more way down the line. Like it should never be about minimal budget. It should be about efficiency with budgets when you're looking at what do we need to spend and what do we need to spend it on. It's like do we just completely outsource everything? It's like, yes, you will potentially get like cheaper workforce, but you will also end up losing a lot of that accrued experience with the product that is being tested if you solely go with outsource because you are unable to really like you can build a good relationship with outsource vendors, and I certainly have in the past, but ultimately if it's like they wanted a day off today, so they're not here, or they need to be on a different title because someone else got a booking in before you got budget authorization to confirm this date. It's like you're kind of at the mercy of that flexibility, which so it's a benefit and a a drawback at the same time. Um, or or do we look at bringing in like a lot of investment into different tools? Are we going to automate? It's like this kind of thing. It's these are the questions that need to get asked, and like how frequently are we going to be doing testing? It's like what contingencies are we building in for things like roadmap schedules constantly changing. Again, if you're going with outsource, it's like you are gonna have to keep reminding people that like if you cancel this the week before testing is due, chances are you are gonna have testing that is not worth the money that you need that you're spending going ahead because they don't have the right build and the right features to test, or we cancel it and we pay for them anyway, and that's money just up the wall as it is. Whereas if you have like your in-house testers, it's like there's a big benefit there because they can be deployed as and where it's needed internally at no cost to the company because you're already paying them to be there.
And I want companies to keep like put money, put effort into your QA team. Like don't just like hire a bunch of junior QAs and then like I'll let them go. Like these are people that are spending so much time knowing the in and outs of your game, knowing
Mhm.
how the team works together, and then just to let them go is like
Yeah.
such a shame. Like hire good people, build up your team, and like it's gonna be so much better. And it's gonna, like you're saying, it's gonna be so much efficient because yeah, I mean, doing things cheaper in the beginning, I mean, bugs are only gonna get more expensive to fix the later on you're trying to do that process. So more risky and just
And not to mention if the bugs don't get fixed, it's the expense of or like the lack of profit that you see when it comes out and it's full of bugs because it hasn't been tested as well as it can be.
right.
And it hits your sales figures. It's like that's where they'll start to feel it even more. It's like,
So I've always been on the same mindset. I mean, as everyone else, thinking that like QA is a really, I don't want to say easy, but just like it's a good entry point into the industry. But after like some
hmm.
other conversations I've had recently, like with my last guest, she mentioned how like just because of how crazy the industry's been lately and like
Yep.
the flood of really experienced QA people fighting for like the same jobs, like the barrier to entry now, at least for now, I don't know if it's permanent or temporary, is just like it's so much higher now that like how do you stand out if you're like coming into the industry brand new, if you like got a degree in game development or like what have you, and you're trying to get an entry level QA job now, you're potentially going up against people who already have like professional QA experience. Like in your opinion, if someone's in that position, they're like they got their degree, they don't have any like professional QA experience, and they're trying to
Yep.
like get that first junior QA job. What do you think they could do to like help their application or like resume stand out, or just like what kind of how can they get these skills to like put them on the same level or like make themselves
Pro-
competitive?
Provide concrete evidence that they have transferable skills that can equate to what they don't have from like the traditional training. I mean, so for example, like if I was applying for jobs and prior to becoming a QA lead, and it's like, what leadership experience do you have? It's like I have no leadership experience within the QA team, but I am a trained teacher where I have to deliver clear and concise instructions to young people and then monitor the work that they're doing and provide guidance and course correction if it's not up to par, and then assessment afterwards in both formative and a summative way so that they're getting feedback that they can act on to continuously improve what they're doing. Then I talk about where I've seen success with that. Um, and highlight it's like if you're a quick learner, it's like, yes, I may not have this skill now, but showing you the skills that I have picked up and my ability to learn these skills, it's like this is a challenge that I know I'm going to be able to rise to. There's a lot of that where it's like, yeah, these are great sound bites that you can put into applications, but honestly, it's like you have to back it up. And like, you know, because you will get scrutinized on it one way or another at some point, whether it's during the application, whether it's during the interview, or whether it's if you get the job and then it's like, okay, show me that you can like learn these skills. It's like the majority thing that like a lot of people don't realize when they join like the games industry, like a lot of places will give you a probation period now to cover themselves, because if you've not going to be able to deliver on what you promised in your application, it's like they then have like they have got to get out cause. It's like I've not personally seen anyone who's failed a probation before, but there is always that option. So it's like, don't lie on your application. If you get knocked back as well, like ask for feedback as to why you didn't get it. Like a lot of like these companies, they'll have like recruitment teams that will provide some feedback. Unfortunately, you will also get a lot that will like decline to do so because they don't want to offer um like categoric reasons as to why you've not gotten a job, because it could be like they don't want to fall foul of like an employment law thing, or they don't
Hmm.
want to like come under too much scrutiny. It's just we went with a better candidate, and it's like so there's a lot of subjectivity with it. But if you can get good feedback, then you know that's good. Um, Utilize things like like this, like listening to people who've been in the industry for a long time, or what they look for when they're hiring somebody new. Um, Personally, for me, if I'm hiring a junior role, like prior experience is like couldn't care less how much experience you've got. Like if you've got some, great. It's going to be like a nice advantage to have it. But um, depending on what the role is, if I'm looking to build a team out, it's like I'm fine bringing in like fresh faces and like helping to uh build up their skill set and their knowledge. It's like I enjoy doing it though. Like I'm a rare breed who enjoys like the training up of new staff. Like
What
a lot
kind
of people
of
don't like it.
maybe what kind of like personalities or like skills outside of like, I know how to use Jira, like that you
Yeah. Yeah.
stand out to you in those interviews where like this guy doesn't have the experience, but I really like that they said this or that they have this skill.
I think just like honesty, like when people are transparent, it's like I want to know who it is I'm going to be hiring. I don't expect to get the finished package. If I've got someone who came to me and was like, yeah, I've got 13 years of experience. I've worked in two different companies. I've got like 40 odd different titles that I've shipped, triple A's down to triple figure budgets. It's like I'd be like, why are you applying for an entry level position then? It's like, you know, it what's going on? It's like, I'd be really, really like curious about it. It's when people use like big terminology that they clearly have read but don't understand. Like the common one that I see is people going like, I understand what black box and white box testing is. It's like, oh great, what is it? And they just don't know. And they're like, it's a type of testing. It's like,
True. What
well, it's two
else?
types of testing for one, but you know, sure, it's like, but like it's that kind of thing, and they just like draw a complete blank, and you're like, okay. Great. Or like if someone's been coached, it's like that becomes like really clear when people have been coached with answers because they tend to ignore the questions that you're asking them. But a big thing I want to see with like questions, because I like to ask a lot of like scenario-based questions and see how people come to their answer rather than what the exact answer is. It's like, are they are they asking questions in interviews when they're asked questions to get as much information as they can to give the interviewer the answer that they are looking for rather than the answer that you want to give them or that you think that they want because you've like kind of ticked the box with it. It's you know it should become a conversation and the question should be like guiding like how you get to know each other. Um, really is like what I want to see. I want to see that engagement in interviews. So yeah,
Like the classic, how do you test this vending machine? I got that one before, but it was
yeah,
actually in, I think it was like the recruiter interview, which I've never gotten that before. I usually get those scenario, I've gotten like those scenario type testing, but it was like the last round. Um,
yeah,
but I think
yeah.
that
I've had a few different ones. It's like how many clocks are there in London and we used to have like the test this kind of Coke kind of thing um which would like you get like some interesting like answers from people but you would just get like the worst response I ever saw to that though was like we would actually put a can of Coke on the desk in front of people as like a visual aid and he was like oh well it's obvious isn't it just sort of drinks the whole can of Coke burps and then that's the end of the answer. It's like anything else you want to add and he was like no. It's like it's-
I'm sure they're kicking themselves now.
he got hired because the rest of his interview was really good,
Oh,
but it
really?
was just
Okay.
like, and like, first thing we did was just like, we just want to give you feedback on the way you gave that response. He was like, yeah, it was like, that was the worst response we ever had. And he was just like, oh, why? And it's like, because there were no trick questions in interviews. I mean, there's always the argument that like, what are your strengths and your weaknesses is a trick question because they want you to like talk yourself up the job. But it's there shouldn't be. If a recruiter is asking you trick questions to try and catch you out, then chances are they're not going to be like a good place to work anyway.
Yeah, definitely agree there. And like to anyone listening, I mean, you could just practice and look up general interview advice and guides because it's hard. It's a skill and like, oh my God, I've given such bad or I've participated in such bad interviews in the beginning of my career where like I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I said that. And like you just you learn, you walk away with it, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
next time I'm gonna do this, and like it's just you got to practice, and yeah,
I think the thing to remember, like when you're interviewing for any position, especially in the games industry, is like chances are if you've got people who you're going to be working for in the interview, they're gamers at heart, and the last thing they want to be doing is sitting in interviews because they are boring and they're repetitive. You interview a lot of people, you look at a lot of like CVs and cover letters that all start with the same line, like I'm a passionate and avid gamer. It's like, great, I thought you were going to talk about being like a really passionate and avid fisherman or something like that. It's like it's like a massive cliche. I get where people put it but it's like a pet peeve I have. It's the same as when people put like send you a CV that is like one page and it looks like a menu, and like one quarter of that menu CV is a picture of themselves, and it's like what that is 25% of your CV is a picture of you. It's like, but going into it's like you forget so many of those middle of the road interviews. You'll assess them at the time and like you'll look back over them, but the only ones that stand out are the really good ones and the really bad ones. Like, make sure you stand out for the right reason in an interview. Is honestly, and that's that's anything. That's not just games industry, but you know, um, that's the really like the best advice I'd give to anyone who's applying for.
Still good advice all about like the yeah, being a passionate gamer, like you said. Chances are we all are. So that's why
Yeah.
we want to work in the industry because we all
I
love
really
video
want to read
games.
a CV where someone's like, I have no interest in playing games in my spare time. So I'm like, ooh, tell me more. Like
Yeah,
this
how
could
to
be,
talk to that person.
where's he going with this?
That's
Yeah,
a good
where's he going
strategy.
with this?
Hopefully somebody employs that. That'd be really funny.
I might do it in my next job application.
uh, I'm sure networking has helped you a lot. We're like talking about like getting jobs and people who don't have jobs. I mean, I always say you gotta network. It's easier now than it ever has been with like LinkedIn, which I don't know how old that is, but I feel like I wasn't around when I was in school. So like utilizing stuff like that. How have you found networking has like influenced your career so far?
I mean, yeah, I think you're right. Like LinkedIn's great. That's how we met. But and that's how like the recruiter who contacted me about coming to work at Jagex uh uh put it on my radar. I wasn't actively looking at the time.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's a powerful tool. It's like social media is in a lot of aspects, but like for networking certainly, it's just be bold with it. Like a lot of people are more than willing to accept it. Like connection requests. So if it's like if you have like the dream job at like a dream studio, it's like but find out who works there and reach out to them and tell them, like get in touch and let them know. It's like it may be that like jobs are coming up, you'll get an insight into when jobs are coming up. Um, Recruiters as well, like putting yourself on their radar if you're looking for work. They will be able to like tell you exactly what the companies that reach out to them are looking for and can help you out significantly with making sure you're prepared for applications and if your application needs work or needs content for it. It's like what do I do to build that? But you also keep yourself in the loop with industry news, which is a big uh thing. You want to be assessing these trends. You want to look at what kind of games are coming out. What are the big challenges that people are having? Like this Discord groups that are like really good as well. Um, it's a lot of different ways of going about it.
Yeah, I've had people message me on like LinkedIn who are just looking for just general advice. And it's not like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Like there's a way to go about doing this, but like it doesn't hurt to like send that message or send that connection request. But because there are people like ourselves who are more than willing to help you to
Mm.
look at your resume or just like answer questions or like, how did you get in the industry? Like, I don't know. It could be anything. I mean, I love helping people. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I just want to like share QA knowledge and experience with people of all experience levels because I'm hoping that will be helpful to
Yeah.
some people. So chances
And
are
for me,
that
I just love talking about myself and like what I've done. So like I'm always happy to sit and go through my past experiences with people.
I saw that you did a Qualicon thing
I
last
did.
year, which I don't know how long that's been going on for. I only found out about it last year, and I have
Mm.
like a subscription through work. I have to watch
Yeah,
your panel still, but I saw that it's on there, and I'm definitely gonna watch it. How'd you
yeah,
find that? That's pretty cool.
yeah. I think it's been going about 4 years now.
That's
No,
relatively new.
that was cool. Yeah. So like one of the guys who used to be at Jagex, asked me if I was interested in putting my name forward. I said, sure, be great. I'd obviously like we'd attended it through work as well. And yeah, so I did my talk on I can't remember the title. It was like managing third party publishing at a mid-level studio, and it
Yeah,
was looking at like that, and like it was I was happy. I put my pitch across and got selected for it. Um, and like that was a good networking opportunity as well, actually, like doing that kind of thing because I had a lot of people like reaching out to ask questions, like follow-up questions and things like that.
nice.
But I had good feedback for it. Like I remember like building out the presentation and like talking to one of the higher ups at Jagex, and I was like, look, I'll do this, but I don't want to do this if I have to say like we were amazing at this and we just like hit the ground running and we had like success after success after it's like I need to talk about like what went wrong kind of thing as well because that's the benefit people are going to get from watching like these kind of presentations. It's not like, oh, you guys did it amazing first time round. It's like, well, what if we can't? It's like t tell them what pitfalls to avoid, like with it, like that kind of thing. So I was fortunately like allowed to be quite candid with a lot of the stuff that I included in the presentation. Um, but no, it was good fun doing
Nice.
it.
It looks fun, and I'd like to maybe look into that in the future. I've never done anything like that. I've like given a couple t presentations at like my local like high school over here a couple times. I've done it, which was like super fun talking to like kids who are
Yeah,
interested in working in games or like hadn't hasn't really considered it as a career, and now they're like asking me all sorts of questions, and you know
yeah, it's
that
cool.
was really fun.
I've got mates who are teachers who are like they always ask me if I can do a talk at the school for like careers days. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But as soon as I tell them I'm not bringing like any free samples or anything, it never pans out. So
What? Really?
no, no, it's just
Oh,
that was a joke.
okay. Over my head. Um,
That's dry Liverpool humor. Sorry, apologies.
just like throughout your career, you're in a big like mentorship role yourself, obviously, as like a lead. Have you had what kind of mentorship did you have yourself, like starting out in your career, or did you even have any?
Um, so when I first started as a contractor, they did have like a contract coordinator who the role was to give feedback, but when you've got one person doing it for 80 people, you know, you're not going to get, unless you're like at the top or you're at the very bottom, like you're not going to get that like that feedback other than, yep, just keep doing what you're doing, which is the worst advice you can give anybody. Like, no, like either do better or like, you know, or like stop doing this that's like really bad. Like that's generally like the theme of the feedback that you want to be giving people. Um, or that they've done something really well. And then like tell them why, what it is specifically that they're doing well that you want them to keep doing. Um, but yeah, so kind of when I started to get like I got a bit more time with that, like, you know, some of the leads like took more of an interest in what I was doing because they saw I was doing good work. So they would give me like better advice. But really, like the best mentor that I've ever had in the games industry was when I became a test lead. And I was like a co-lead on a couple of projects uh with like one of the more experienced members of the team. But it wasn't because they had like 10 years more experience than me. It was because they would very much like let me run with the ideas that I had. They'd be there to like if it was like I think it's a really good idea to drive really fast into this wall, like they would turn the wheel, but it's generally speaking, they were just like, it doesn't matter if you bump the curb a few times. Like, I'm here to just give you feedback on what you're doing and like, but let you do it. And it was just that perfect mix for me of like, here's guidance, but here's your, you know, autonomy with everything. Um, and I genuinely like that they were like the best lead, best mentor I could ever have. When it came to Jagex, it was weird because I was being brought in as like being like a subject matter expert in like console uh testing and like going through like the you know the submission process with Sony particularly. So it less became less of like here's the mentorship we can offer you, but it was more um what can you like teach other people Um, it kind of fell a bit by the wayside, which, you know, unfortunately it does at some studios. It's like you don't get much in the way um of mentorship because it's very much driven by the focus is on the work. The work goes towards a project, and the project has very tight deadlines. So it's like do it until the end of the project, and then see what the next project is. But you know, if you want mentors in what you're doing, if you want mentors in the games industry, like you need to go looking for them, and you need to ask for them. It's very rare that you'll just kind of like fall into a really great mentor relationship with someone. I find.
And hopefully the company you're at is open. There's like open communication because you mentioned it earlier about how you went looking to set up one-on-ones and like get just talk to all these different kinds of people to learn. And like, I mean,
Yep.
that's mentoring. Like you got to seek it out with anything, I would say, with progressing your career in QA. You have to, chances are you like what you're doing, so just keep being enthusiastic and motivated and trying to learn, just set small goals for yourself and think about how you're going to achieve them. Like I want to learn more about like automation or like the kind of tools that are out there and maybe what we can apply and like how do I start and like I don't know, just that's what I like and like doing. That's what I try to do. Um but yeah, it's important to keep that thirst going, that hunger going.
I think that's a really important point. It's like, you know, I think the majority of people who like enter the games industry, they're coming in with like a real passion and like, you know, there's a drive that they're gonna enjoy it. They want to enjoy it. I think the best advice, well, not the best. I've said that about 6 different times. These are all really good pieces of advice, though. So you take your pick, which one you think's the best one. But a good piece of advice is it's like don't let anyone kill that passion for you. And if you're in a position where you actually have any kind of sway on the quality of life people have at work, it's like don't kill someone else's passion. If they tell you that they're enjoying work, it's like will the longer you in the industry, you'll have horror stories. You'll have like, oh my God, this was so stupid, or this was really bad, or whatever. It's like that's any job that you have. At the end of the day, it's still the games industry. It's like we're getting paid to work on video games. It's like there's very few cooler jobs that you can have. Like don't kill the passion for other people and don't let them kill it for you. Uh, that's enjoy it. It's like there's a reason why little kids say they want to test video games when they grow up.
I never said
It's
that, but somehow I ended up doing it.
I didn't either, but I've heard little kids say it. But that's
That's
only because I
awesome.
tell them. That's it's because I tell them I do it, and I get to play video games all day, which isn't strictly true, but they don't need to know that.
That's awesome. I have like my cousin's son. I don't know how old he is. He's maybe like 10 or 11, but like he loves video games, obviously, and he knows what I do. And like, so he's like really interested already about like doing that or just like working on games. And like, that's so cool. Like, I never thought, I didn't know what I was gonna do until like my end of my second year of college, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna go into video games. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do.
I was training to be a teacher when I joined the industry. I had no idea what I was doing. I still don't really, but I'm liking the lack of not knowing at the moment.
We
It's
fake our way through it.
that's it.
Um,
Exactly.
well, we could wrap up here. This was really great. I guess to end things on a fun note, if you have time to play games, what kind of games are you currently playing right now?
So I'm a big fan of the WWE franchise. Because I'm a massive wrestling fan, so I like play that a lot. Um, I like the free sandbox modes that you get in like the Creation Suite stuff. But
Nice.
um, I think like generally I'll always go back to like older franchises that I've played before. So like Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid franchises, go right back to them. I have got God of War Ragnarok sitting there waiting to be played. But I want to be able to like just block the time out and just like absolutely nail it. Because like the first one, like the PS4 one, was just incredible. Um, game. Um, yeah, I think so. Like that's the kind of stuff I'll play. Like one of the games I'm testing at the moment, it's coming out in like 6 weeks time. Like I put a lot of time into that, more from like community engagement, helping to drive testing. But I do actually enjoy playing that, even though it isn't quite my kind of game. That's Scum. That's being developed by Game which I can say because it's an early access. It's not a secret
Yeah,
to
I've seen
anyone.
that on Steam for a while,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
that should be coming out full content
cool.
launch hopefully this year. So it's all and all the engines are firing, getting it over the finish line.
Nice.
Um, yeah, but that's quite that's a different experience because I've never really been like a big PC player, game player. I've always been more of a console gamer than PC.
I've been a mix of both. Even like when I was younger on the family PC playing like The Sims and Roller Coaster Tycoon and Wolfenstein. But wrestling games, the last wrestling game I played was on the 64, like those like WrestleMania 2000 or
Yeah,
something. It was so fun to make a character though, and like oh, I loved it. It was so fun.
it's like it's just it's fun like playing that the franchise like pretty much every year and seeing how they like evolve it because I think it's almost a nice little timeline of like how video game capabilities have evolved in general because you go from like the original creation suite where it's like pick a head and then pick a body and then pick legs and then that's your character and you're like so limited and now it's like upload these images that you've tweaked on Photoshop to the creation
Oh,
website and then you
nice.
can upload them to the server and then download them to your console and you can like apply them with like face scanning as well. You can do like face renders and like all this kind of
Wow.
stuff to like really like do like photorealistic community creations. It's some are better than others. Like m mine are awful, but it's still a fun little feature.
Have you ever heard of the game? It's old and it like only lasted had a really unfortunate release and then it shut down and then it got brought back. All Points Bulletin.
No,
It's like a free to play. It was like Grand Theft Auto, but it was an online game. It was a long time ago. It's still running, but they have an amazing, like they have amazing customization tools in their game. I think it's built on UE. I think it's still running on UE3, or maybe
mm,
I don't think they even upgraded. But you could like make your own music in there. They have like a music editor, and they have like a decal editor where you can it's like a primitive Photoshop and there's layers and like you can use these uh pre-constructed shapes and like you could do all sorts of stuff in there and you can make anything and like you could apply it
yeah,
on your clothing, you can make tattoos, put on your car and like it's and this was like 2000 like 8 like amazing.
yeah,
I played the heck out of that game back in the day and I still haven't played a game that like had that freedom built in. It was so cool.
yeah. I think there was a PlayStation released it a few years ago. It was took advantage of like the motion
Hmm.
uh controllers and like some PS4 and with the PlayStation camera. It was called Dreams, where you could like literally 3D model and then create games based on it and apply
Oh, wow.
logic. And
That's cool.
that had things like music creators and everything as well. And you could basically like just draw any kind of imagery that you wanted onto it. But yeah, we had a few guys who were like really into their art who worked on that. Testing it and like some of the stuff that they were able to do was just amazing. But like people have like put stuff up on it. It kind of was like a spiritual successor in a way to like the creative like creator level stuff from Little Big Planet where
Hmm.
people do like this insane stuff. And I love the story of like the first Little Big Planet, like someone who was making so many like detailed, well constructed levels that they hired them as a level designer for Little Big Planet 2. It's
That's
like
cool.
that's like the kind of cool thing I like to see with the industry.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, like I said, they had people like that who were like really good at that kind of stuff, and then brought them into to do stuff. And we've seen like community of like basically like recreated games in Dreams that you can then play, and you can
Wow.
you can get like other players' games as well. And download them.
Yeah, like hiring modders or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
playing, so I'm trying to I'm trying to learn UE5 and like actually make something in it slowly. I'm like following a RPG tutorial that really good one I found online. So I'm trying to do that, but then Oblivion Remastered just released. So I'm like, it's kind of I game in the morning, like before I work. That's like the only time I have. So like I'm trying to balance not playing Oblivion the whole morning and trying to work on my game. But like I loved Oblivion. I remember I still have the box over here. Played that a lot, and like I never finished the main story. I might have finished like a couple of the main story quests, and like I was always just like running around or like spending all my time looking at mods, installing mods, repeat, and like not even playing the game. Like with any Elder Scrolls game, that's just what you do. But the remaster is really cool. I've been really enjoying that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm similar when it comes to like gaming. It's normally of a weekend that I'll play. Um, but it's a weird thing. Like I've got to like really like pick and choose what I play because if it's got dogs or animals or like dog noises, like I have a dog who like will sit and watch. He watches intently, and if he sees anything that looks even closely like a dog or sounds like one, he's just like barks and goes crazy because he wants to play with everything.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, which is what like I think there's like wolf type things in Ragnarok. I don't want to spoil anything because I'm making assumptions, but um yeah, I've just been told like no, you'll get set off as soon as you start playing it if you play it. So I'm like, oh, wait, I've got to wait until until I can sit and play it without worrying about him
That's
barking.
funny.
The same with TV as well. Like the amount of movies that me and my partner have started to watch, and then the next thing it'd be like, "Rrrr." It's like, what? There is a dog in the background that isn't doing anything, and he's like, found him.
You gotta like watch with headphones on so you can't hear something.
Oh, yeah, like even if he sees it, he still goes crazy.
That's funny. Well, this was great conversation. I'm really thankful that you came on again. I appreciate
Um,
you.
I'm really glad we made time.
Yeah. Cool. But thanks, Mike, for joining me, and hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Cheers.
Bye.